What's going on, everybody? JaymesHanson back again to bring you another video. If you didn't see the incredible stream that we had earlier today, reacting and translating everything that went down, I'm going to give you a quick rundown so you're up to date with everything as news as I can give you, right? And give you the full breakdown of my predictions and everything that went on today. So, if you like this video, hit that like, hit that subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get into it, shall we? So first and foremost, I've already posted the reaction if you haven't gone and seen that already. The PV looks immaculate, right? And I know that I say that every time I see a PV, right? But it really does seem like they are elevating bit after bit after bit after bit. Now, I will say throughout my reaction of, you know, again, it's a teaser trailer. It's a teaser. There wasn't anything there that I saw that was new content. It all seemed to be content that we were already familiar with. If you've already seen, like, the manga, right? So, but it was a nice, great build-up. The emotion, the voice acting of lines, impactful lines throughout the series, building up to this thing, and then just getting a sneak peek of all these different camera angles, these different filters, seeing the Horn of Salvation, seeing Hushwell put the sword up to Uryu's. Like, there's just a lot going on. Chad was in there, and then we got the key visual. The key visual, you know, I'm not gonna lie, the past key visuals have, I'm not gonna say bland. I think it's very disrespectful to say bland, but without a doubt they have been something that is very safe and very simple. This key visual, very dynamic, gives me that 2000s feel. You get the Bankai of the two twin Zangetsus with, you know, basically the main cast. Who threw Ganju in there? I don't, but anyway, I digress, right? You get the main cast in there. Beautiful, great use of dynamic shots right there. And I really hope that this season really focuses more on those things. But considering I'm trying to give you all the news in a fast, concise format of like all the news without going too in depth. Next off, we have the next somewhat big, I mean, they're all big in their own way, depends on where you scale them, right? But the next big one is obviously you have seen for a while now a trademark for a game called Bleach Mirror's High. We all kind of was wondering what it was. Was it going to be console? Was it going to be a mobile game? It seems that it is, in fact, a mobile game, which is crazy because we have to have Shueisha and Kubo also acknowledge Soul Resonance, to which they do. Like, they do, right? The voice actor's done some work for the game on YouTube and promoted it. So it's like they acknowledge Soul Resonance, but Soul Resonance technically isn't out of beta yet, believe it or not. Very weird situation we're going on there. But in July, also, the anime is coming out in July. Again, summer, going to be crazy. But then again, the game as well is also coming out in July as well. Now, I don't mind mobile games. I think mobile games are fine, especially if there is a different variation, right? Now, the one interesting thing about this one specifically is that Kubo is involved in this one. Now, I'm not going to say that the other games Kubo isn't involved in. There's obviously BBS where he does do supervisions and he has his hand on. But it seems like this one, like this seems to be a game that he is actually actively involved in. Maybe puts his foot forward in regards to this one, so I'm very interested into what it's going to be. Again, I've always pushed this notion for such a long time. Give me the MMORPG style, give me that Genshin style, give me that Weathering Wave style. Let me walk around, let me explore the world, let me, I don't know, create a character, let me get involved, man. And that's you know, I'm not opposed to a gacha, but just give me that free roam, right? Give me that life that I want to see. I want to explore that world, right? So yeah, that's all we know in terms of that. We wasn't given any hints about anything else other than it's a mobile game, it's coming out in July. Another big one which kind of gaslit a few people. Let's talk about Bleach stories. Now, this obviously confused a lot of people, and obviously not everybody watched my stream, so I'm not going to assume that everyone's going to know what this is. Basically, it's build-up going into the last core, and this does include 1000 Year Blood War as well. So this is them posting episodes on YouTube, and I would assume too that TV to some regard. If not, and this is an online thing, this is them re-uploading the episodes or key episodes. Some maybe with commentary, limited opening and endings, whatever that means. Could just be limited releases of these openings and endings. Yeah, it's just build up, just building up, getting people gassed, going through the notions, getting people emotional. So, and again, 1000 Year Blood War is included in that as well. So again, like by the time that that's all finished, you're gonna get the new core. But also they're doing something with it that as the story progresses, the image that I will show on screen, right? Here's the manga version, and here's the new version, is that as it goes through the arcs, a new version of Ichigo is going to pop up. Now, the interesting thing about this image in particular is that in the manga, it technically stops at Fullbring, but it only shows Ichigo's like Fullbring foot. So it seems that we might actually get a new full-scale image of Ichigo's progression from a human all the way up until the 1,000 Year Blood War. So that's going to be, in a sense, a new redrawing of an already existing color page. So that's interesting as well. One of the big things that I had called, probably when the April Fool's event happened, where you had the high school blood warfare.
And if that does well, then where do we go with this? And I think the question is that, you know, there's this rabbit hole we can completely go down on. But if I think I know Bleach business, and I think that I somewhat do, I feel like this has layers upon it. And I feel like if this does well, then I do think a novelization will happen. And is that a good or bad thing? Well, if the novelization does do well, to which I think it kind of will do, unironically, especially if the merch and everything else is doing well, then of course this can be an anime adaptation. And why do I think that is important? Core 4 of Bleach has just started production. We had a TV Tokyo thing,
and then of course BBS did some things on it too, and you had, you know, a joke of a game come out, and then the game was successful, so they did a part 2, and you had like all the goals in the outfits too. And then they made an April Fool's joke that Naruto was actually going to do a light novel, and then he went on Twitter and was like, I guess I'm doing a light novel apparently. Like, it was all a big joke. And then people actually was like, oh, this is a good idea. So basically what happened is that now we're getting a novel on the high school blood warfare. And what did I predict? I said that this was going to happen. And do you know why I said it was going to happen? Because after the 1,000 Year Blood War, they're going to need Kubo to work on Burn the Witch for a little bit. Maybe into the Hell arc. Maybe work on either like movies for Rukia's wedding. Or, you know, Can't Fear Your Own World, stuff like that. So I think that we're going to have an Attack on Titans sort of thing, where, you know, the little comedic spin-offs or whatever, just filler for them to work on to keep the production moving until they get to a point where they're ready to maybe commit or promote other work. So I do feel like this is a potential buffer, and I do hope it does well as well. But there we go. Narita is going to be working on, with Kubo, by the way. Kubo is very heavily involved in this. Is it canon? We'll see how comedic, or if they fit it into the storyline, but, you know, it's canon in its own way, right? We'll talk about that when we talk about it. So we'll see how they make this into a story. And just to end everything off as well, obviously, like, for the Western people, you're not really going to care about this, but the application line is also going to be promoting the Bleach manga on its app as well, which again might not seem like a big thing in the West, as people obviously use WhatsApp, or what's that other one called, Signal? I don't know, right? I've never personally used it, but why it's important is that like, everybody in Japan pretty much uses Line, right? Like, I'd say 99%. So the fact that this is going to be available going to bring more eyes to the series, more people are going to have access to it, and overall it's just a good thing in general. So there's the quick fire news for everyone that wants to be caught up. If you want more detailed things, more conversation about certain aspects, tell me in the comment section down below. Hit the like, hit the sub. Thank you for coming through. Gonna catch motherfuckers out. You guys, of course, have this fine day, JaymesHanson. And as always, people, peace out.